What is up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jasmine if you are new here, and today I'm just going to be doing the 2024 end of the year book tag. I'm going to be real, I kind of combined like two different tags that I found because I liked the questions from both, but like some of them they felt repetitive, so I just kind of made my own little tag. I already did this for the like mid-year book tag, so I'm going to try and not repeat my answers from that one and mostly do this as like the end of the year, but also kind of like a holistic view as well. So getting right into it, let's start. What book or book series do I wish I had gotten to this year that I didn't? There's quite a few, obviously, but from the ones that I had on my TBRs and things, I'm pretty disappointed that I never got into any of the Gillian Flynn books. I put that on my fall TBR and I got so many comments saying like, oh my god, she's so good, like to be able to read her for the first time again, like oh my gosh. And then I just didn't read any of them, so I definitely want to read those in 2025, and that is a big goal for me. What was my biggest letdown of 2024? That would have to be, and this is actually so crazy because I was just looking on the Goodreads like awards for 2024 and it won an award for best fiction, but my biggest letdown this year was definitely The Wedding People by Alison Espach. I hope that's how you say her name. That book was so disappointing. First off, it was a beautiful cover and I feel like everyone was talking about it and it was like highly anticipated this year, and I finally got it from my library and started reading it, and it was so depressing, so weird, so like upsetting a little bit, and I felt like the characters did not really go through any growth. I was just very disappointed with the book, and I cannot believe that it won best fiction. Either people have no taste, okay, that was mean, either maybe there was just not that many good fictions that were put out this year, but that was definitely not a good one for me. I gave it 3 stars and I highly thought about DNFing it, but persevered because I hate DNFing books. So yeah. The book that I read that was on my TBR for the longest, I think that would have to be the Cruel Prince trilogy. I finished that this year. I couldn't find on Goodreads like when I put it on my TBR, but I'm fairly certain I had that book on my site since, I don't know, middle school. Like I don't know when the first book came out, but it came out in 2018. All right, so I graduated high school in 2018, so maybe not, but I feel like I've been wanting to read that book series for a while, and now that all 3 of the first trilogy's out and the first 2 books in the second trilogy, like I feel like it was overdue that I started. Oh, you know what? That's actually such a lie. Okay, these 2 books. Okay, take it back. The books that I have had on my TBR for the longest would be Love Scene Take 2 by Alex Evansley and Love Me Not by S.M. Cause. Got these books like right when I moved to Virginia before college, so like 6 years ago, and I remember my mom read them and I never did. So yeah, those ones probably. Anyways, moving on. Question 4, my favorite reread of the year. So I really don't reread books very often. I don't know, I'm not a rereader. But in preparation for book 3 in the Imperium series by Rebecca Yarros, I have been rereading Fourth Wing, and I've been like listening to the dramatized version on audiobook, and it's so good. It's like life altering. It's so good. So yeah, favorite reread of the year, and I would reread it again. Yes, I would. So good. My favorite new author from this year, so I kind of have like one that's an honorable mention, but then the one that's like the real one, and that would be Christina Lauren. So that is actually 2 authors that write together, and one is named Christina and one is named Lauren, but they do so good. It's really crazy because this year I read a short story from them and then 2 of their books, one that's like a brand new release and one that is an older book, and the short story I gave 4.5 stars. The new release I gave 5 stars, so good, and then the older book I gave like 3 stars because I did not like it at all. I can really tell that they've grown in their writing, but I would definitely say that they are my new favorite authors of the year because I had never read anything Christina Lauren before now, and I really enjoyed my time with them. And then my honorable mention is Ali Hazelwood because I kind of found her last year, but I love her. I've really enjoyed most of the books that I've read by her, and I read so many by her this year, like 5 books by her this year. That's crazy. So yeah, Ali Hazelwood has my heart, and she is basically an auto read for me because I love her so much. Yeah. An author that didn't work out for me. So I always feel bad like dissing books a little bit, but this was one of the worst books that I read this year. Got it as a blind date with a book this year when I went to Richmond, and it's called A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley, and I just really disliked it. And I think like her writing is very whimsical, but it just wasn't for me. So yeah, I gave that one 2.5 stars, and my only review was this book was really bad. But I didn't DNF it. Yeah. Moving on. Who was my favorite book boyfriend? So there's an obvious answer, and that would be Xaden from Fourth Wing. That man, he can do no wrong. My heart breaks. My heart breaks. That's all I'm gonna say. And then I would say Justin from Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. He was so cute, and I absolutely adored this book. Yeah, he's just super caring and thoughtful, and like he has to take care of his siblings, and he does such a good job at being like an older brother, but also like a father figure for them. And I don't know, just something about it. I loved it. I loved him. He was awesome. He was perfect. And he also like didn't push her. Like when she wasn't ready to be like open about things, he was like, all right, I'm gonna be sad, but I'm not gonna push you. And I was like, okay, a man. A man. Okay, 2 more questions. So the 8th question is, do I have any anticipated new releases for 2024? For 2025? Whoa. Yes, it's consuming my entire life. January 21st, y'all, Onyx Storm. I'm not gonna be okay. You know, maybe check on your girl on January 22nd. And if I don't respond, I'm dead. I've passed away. But yeah, that is, I've never been more excited for something in my whole life. Yes. 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 And then finally, to finish this out, do I have any plans for 2025 and my reading goals for that year? I'm still working on like a real TBR, but I do have a few that were like basically goals for this year that I didn't accomplish. And so the first was that I failed at trying to start reading a new genre in like thriller and suspense and mystery, and I really am gonna try my hardest to not fail next year because I do want to open up my horizons. I read basically just like romance and fantasy this year, and I mean I loved it. It was great, but I need to be more open to new experiences that could quite literally change my life. So yes, that is a big goal for me in 2025. Another thing that I want to do that I also failed at this year because it was on all my TBRs for the beginning of the year was I want to read some long high fantasy. So Brandon Sanderson, Patrick Rothfuss, like come on girly, come on. You gotta do it. And don't be intimidated by the large books because they'll change your life. They'll literally fuck you up. And I want that. That's the goal, really. To get fucked up by these books. And then finally, a book that I've heard literally nonstop about, and Ben's sister is reading the second book now and gave the first book like 5 stars, was One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. Everything that I've heard about it, just yes, you know? But I need that in my life. It also has 4.29 stars on Goodreads. That's crazy high. So yeah. Also, this I literally just came up with like as I was sitting here thinking. I also want to finish the Throne of Glass series. I read that not this year but last year in 2023. I read the first 3 books and then DNF'd book 4, and I was going back. I was like, oh, I had like a bad, like I didn't like them or whatever, but then I was like going back to my reviews and I literally gave them all 4.5 stars. So I don't know what was wrong with me, but I wasn't ready at that point in my life to accept Throne of Glass into it. and now I'm feeling ready. So yeah, I want to read that series in 2025 as well, like all the way through, and do the tandem read and change my life, you know. I think 2025 is about changing my life. And if I'm not changing my life, then what am I doing, you know? My life needs some change. And it's gonna get it as well. So yeah. Anyways, that is the end of the year book tag. Let me know down below what your guys' like favorite books of this year were, what you're excited for in the next year, and maybe some of your reading goals. Let me know if you read any of these books that I mentioned or your thoughts on them. I got so much coming, so much. Like, buckle in, guys. Buckle in. That's all I'm gonna say, but buckle in. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.
Saw your silhouette